Hi everyone, Chester Lampkin here with our Weather Watch forecast. We are on Weather Watch Alert here. Thanks for joining us on this live stream. We are streaming live on the WUSA 9 app and of course here on our various websites and Facebook page. We're talking about heat and humidity today. It's a steamy one out there. You probably noticed it if you've already been outside early this morning. We're going to be tracking that heat through the day. So we've issued a Weather Watch Alert for the heat, but we've also increased the chance for thunderstorms this afternoon and this evening. And while not everyone will get a storm, if you get caught under one of these, there's a lot of energy in the atmosphere, downpour, lightning, and there could even be one or two storms that reach severe level in the wind department. We're talking about wind gusts 60 miles per hour or stronger. That's enough to bring down some limbs, trees, and cause some isolated power outages. So we're going to time all this out for you. I'm going to show you several different elements, stuff that you don't usually see on TV, so you can get an idea, a flavor of what the day is going to look like. So again, muggy, sunny start to the day. It's more humid compared to yesterday, indeed, for sure. And when you factor in the humidity and the actual air temperature, we come up with the heat index, or what it feels like outside. And that gives you an idea of what your body can handle. So when it feels like 100 or hotter, you know that is dangerous level heat. And when you have a heat index as hot as 105, 106, which is possible in the heat advisory area here, that's even more dangerous. It doesn't take but a few minutes for heat exhaustion to set in. So staying hydrated will be incredibly key, especially if you're working outdoors today, and especially for the afternoon hours. And for the elderly, our older citizens, and for the young and the chronically ill, this heat can overwhelm these people very quickly, these different populations. So please, if you know someone in that population or you yourself are in that population, take those precautions necessary. Metro Washington, most of the metro, I should say, is included in that heat advisory, including areas in and around the Beltway. So the district, Arlington, Alexandria, Falls Church, but the county and city of Fairfax, as well as Prince George's, Charles counties, and most of Montgomery County. Upper Montgomery not included, Loudoun, Prince William, Manassas not included. However, even there, the heat index will end up close to 100 this afternoon, and it's hot all the way out to Winchester and Hagerstown, Culpeper as well. Southern Maryland, we'll see your heat index top out around 105, 106 this afternoon, and the Northern Neck as well. And if you happen to be watching us from the Eastern Shore or Baltimore, same story for you all. We have a similar situation. So let's show you this plot of the heat index. I'm going to show you the close-up view, then I'll take the wide view here in just a moment. So again, this is something you wouldn't normally see on TV. A close-in view first, that heat index, or that feels like temperature. Again, by 11 o'clock this morning, it already feels like 96 here in the district, 96 in Haymarket, and 95 in Leesburg, and it feels like 94 in La Plata. It's hot. 100 or hotter for the heat index by 1 o'clock this afternoon. 103 our projected heat index in the district. Same in Alexandria, and just go ahead and say the same for Arlington as well. Feels like 102 in Upper Marlboro, 100 in the city of Fairfax, and 97 in Warrenton. Triple digits all the way to the Bay. And look at Baltimore, 104 for that heat index. And the heat index will feel like 105 along these Bay communities at times. That's because you guys have more humidity. You're just that much closer to the Bay. In the district, 104 here at 3 in the afternoon, and three-digit feels like temperatures, Haymarket, Leesburg, Frederick, close to 100, even in Martinsburg, where you guys tend to be a little bit cooler and less humid. And 4:30 this evening, still feeling like triple digits in the district and surrounding areas. Finally, we'll start to ease away that heat somewhat. It's still very muggy, but at this time, the reason why the temps go down is because we expect storms in the metro. And if not storms, at least clouds and what we call outflow boundaries, little boundaries of air that come out or emanate from these storms that could bring slightly cooler temperatures. Those winds, they flow down from thunderstorms sometimes, and then they flow out over the land. Okay, so this is the wide view. So I want to include the wide view just so you can see south to Fredericksburg, all the way out to Hagerstown, Cumberland, Romney area off to our west, and up and down the Shenandoah. I want to include you guys in this, and also down through southern Maryland. Patuxent River, that's a good proxy for Leonardtown and those communities down through California, Mechanicsville. So it'll feel like it's in the 90s already at 10 this morning. And at 3 o'clock this afternoon, it feels like 105, maybe 106 down here, Calvert, St. Mary's County. Oppressively humid. 104 in the district. three-digit feels like temperatures down to Fredericksburg, over to Manassas and Frederick, and then again, even into the mountain communities and the Shenandoah, it feels like mid-upper 90s this afternoon. Heat index still near 100 in many spots at 5 o'clock, but that's when the storms start to sweep through. The clouds will thicken up as well, and we'll see things cool down slightly. It's still hot, though. So if you have to work outdoors, if you're doing some yard work, gardening, if you were an outdoor worker or first responder, you know the precautions you need to take. This is that day for that. Now let's track the storms, and this is the element I'm actually a little bit more concerned about. The heat is dangerous, of course. It impacts so much of us. But these storms, they could catch some of us off guard just because we haven't had storms in the forecast really for today that much. We've talked about the chance of an isolated storm, but it's looking a little more likely that we'll get some storms across the area. So through 2 o'clock, bone dry here in the metro and across much of the DMV, but we're starting to see storms flare up on this particular model. I'm going to show you a different one in a moment. This model here is putting down some downpours in around Winchester, maybe right on down through the Harrisonburg area, including places like Stevens City and down through Front Royal, maybe as far east as Luray and Leesburg and Frederick. That's at 2 o'clock. We'll take it a little further, 3 o'clock. Now it's starting to put storms already as close as Sterling and down through the Herndon area. So there could be storms here. Don't get caught up in the exact location. It could be over Leesburg, could be over Frederick, could be over Warrenton or Manassas. The idea is that we'll have storms in the area across central and northern Virginia by the time we get to 3, 4 o'clock. And yeah, here it is. It's bringing one into the metro already at 4, 5 o'clock this afternoon with some bigger storms farther west against central Virginia and down through the Shenandoah and adjacent to the Blue Ridge. Storm threats will continue through the evening hours. I think it's possible this complex here of storms could be a little farther east, closer to D.C. and Arlington and Alexandria, 4, 5 o'clock, and perhaps even a few down through La Plata, Stafford, Quantico, Fredericksburg areas, and even farther north towards Thurmont, Frederick, and Westminster as well. And you can see 6 o'clock, this could be impacting the commute as some storms may be in and around the Beltway and surrounding parts of D.C., even as far east as Baltimore and maybe La Plata and St. Charles. Storms in around Warrenton, Manassas, Leesburg, Frederick, and certainly storms a little more numerous for our communities to the west here, up and along the Shenandoah and adjacent to the Blue Ridge. If you know someone who's headed up to Shenandoah National Park, make sure they're weather aware today, just because the storm threat there can make it quite dangerous up on the national park and along Skyline Drive. But the idea is that storms will populate our skies through the late afternoon, and then later in the evening, you see how it kind of falls apart. I think the storm threat will linger in Metro Washington through 7, 8 o'clock. Maybe as late as 9, 10 o'clock, but certainly through 7, 8 o'clock, those dinner hours, so after the evening commute. That's one model. I'm going to show you a different one, and it has similar timing, but some key differences here, okay? So through midday, it's hot. We're in the 90s at 11 o'clock in the morning. We take it to 2:30 in the afternoon. And here we are. It's starting to pop storms by the bay. And that's what we're going to be watching. There could be a little bit of a bay breeze that sets up. We'll get what we call convergence. That's when winds come from different directions and come together. And that could pop some storms here, Calvert, Anne Arundel counties. So we'll watch southern Maryland up through Anne Arundel County for some isolated storms as soon as 2, 3 o'clock. And then there are those pop-up storms. Again, same areas the other model showed it. So not quite in the district or the metro, but down through Culpeper, Washington, Virginia, Front Royal, Berryville, Winchester, maybe Martinsburg and Hagerstown. It has more storms at 5, 6 o'clock through Charlestown and over to Brunswick, Frederick, Hagerstown, right on down through Leesburg, maybe even over to Manassas, Bull Run, and Gainesville. And a couple storms in and around the metro, like the heart of the metro. I mean, like into Fairfax, Arlington counties, Prince George's, Montgomery counties, and the district as well. And again, this could be 5, 6 o'clock. Could impact that evening commute. Could impact pickup time for some of the kids at the area camps or just any outside plans you may have. We'll take you to 6, 7 o'clock. This sweeps the storms off, I think, a little too quick. But it's not out of the realm of possibilities that we could have storms stretching over to Annapolis, Bowie, Upper Marlboro, and right down here into Fairfax County as well, and across other parts of Metro Washington through 7, 8 o'clock this evening. And then late evening, it starts to wind things down. It does linger some storms in around Fredericksburg and over to Orange, so keep an eye on that. But I think most of the activity will be dying down by 9, 10 o'clock, and certainly by midnight tonight. Now, this model goes all the way through Saturday, so I'm going to time out the storms that come in tomorrow. We're likely to be on weather watch alert tomorrow as well. Isolated to scattered storms in the metro, maybe as soon as 2, 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. It's hot, but not as hot as today. Look at these big storms here across Virginia and West Virginia, so we'll be tracking those for you guys tomorrow afternoon and evening. Look at this. These would be downpours. There's also a severe weather threat. Damaging winds, the primary threat for storms today and tomorrow both. But I'm also concerned about the flood threats that may develop tomorrow afternoon as a boundary, a cold front comes through. It's actually going to bring down our temperatures only a few degrees, but enough to get it out of the upper 90s by tomorrow. And these could be some big time storms. Take this all with a grain of salt because the models cannot really do a good job of predicting exact locations of storms, but specifically when we get to a day out or two, I mean, there's no way the radar is going to look exactly like this. But the idea is that there will be storms in the area tomorrow afternoon and evening. 6:30 could be some downpours right here in the heart of the metro as folks are coming home. Or maybe you're driving to the beach, you're driving down 95, headed down the Virginia Beach or over the Bay Bridge to the Eastern Shore. There may be some big time storms impacting your commute to those locations. Outdoor plans tomorrow evening. Maybe you have patio plans or you're doing a barbecue or something like that. Could be some big storms in the area. Lightning's always dangerous. Take those outdoor activities inside when you hear those storms. There's tomorrow evening, 9 o'clock. I think we'll still be ongoing with storms, but things will start to calm down somewhat. Unfortunately, we're stuck in this pattern, so we'll do more isolated showers and storms on Saturday afternoon and evening, and unfortunately on Sunday as well. While I don't think the storms will be quite as widespread Saturday as they will be tomorrow, the threat will remain in the forecast for Saturday afternoon, evening, and perhaps even into Sunday as well. So back to the severe weather risk. Damaging wind, our primary risk. Now, the area outlook for the severe weather is north and west of the district. Looking at you guys, Clarksburg, Brunswick, Frederick, Thurmont, over to Hagerstown, Martinsburg, Charlestown area, Winchester, Berryville, Leesburg. However, there could still be a strong storm in this area here. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts is enough to take down some trees and limbs. And of course, lightning always dangerous. Friday, the outlook is shifted a little farther east, includes all of Metro Washington, Southern Maryland, over to Fredericksburg, Stafford area, and over to Culpeper as well. So let's get back to today, and we'll have more updates later today. Mary's in a few minutes. She'll be tracking storms at 9 o'clock. Caitlin's in at noon, and she will be with Topper tonight at 5:30, and 6 as they track the storm potential right around that evening commute and early into the evening hours. Planner forecast for today in the metro, low mid-90s for almost everyone, including here in D.C. I went with a high of 96. That heat index, 101, 102, 103 in the metro. Storm threats are best, and I don't mean this in a good way, but the best chance for storms will be right around that evening commute through the dinner hours. So again, 4 or 5 o'clock through 7, 8 o'clock. And then later in the evening, the threats will go down. Temperatures will also lower just a little bit. We'll be tracking those storms again this afternoon. So we'll have the latest right on the WUSA 9 app, WUSA 9 Plus, and of course on TV, 9 o'clock noon. And again later tonight at 5, 5:30, and 6 o'clock. And we'll be talking about tomorrow's storm threat too. And quick look at the 3-day forecast because again, we are under weather watch alert today. We'll be under an alert tomorrow, likely for strong storms in the afternoon. The heat does come down a little bit. That's good news. And so far, we're not thinking alert for Saturday. Fingers crossed, because we don't want your weekend plans. And of course, we don't really like the dangerous weather. So that's it for me. We're going to wrap up this live stream. We have the latest on the WUSA 9 app, a full video of some of the stuff I just showed you here, and text and all that good stuff. Download our free app if you don't already have it. And stay safe out there here on this Thursday. I'm Chester Lampkin.